Hey guys, hope you're all well. Right, ready for part two. Part one, amazing. The response in the comments has been absolutely fantastic. I have enjoyed reading every single one of them. Some of them some great stories, some of them very much the same. Same bike, same year, everything. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that. So hopefully we can keep that sort of going in part two with the comments. It's giving me something to read and I get to know a bit about you guys as well. So thoroughly enjoying that. Anyway, where did we leave part one? I believe it was with a slight dip in street cred with the Puch Maxi. Although, same as some of you guys, the enjoyment you get of being on the road legally is just amazing. No matter what you've got, it's just amazing. That feeling, being able to go everywhere, you know, go and see your pals, meet up with your pals and just go off. You know, the world's your oyster all of a sudden, and you can get to all these amazing places on these little bikes. Anyway, moving on. Taking a slight step up the ladder in street cred again. AP50. What an amazing little bike. I got this, if I remember right, off a friend who worked at a body shop. So it had a fantastic paint job. It was like a black, sort of metal flaky type colour. It had a lot of greens and purples and silvers in the paint. It was wonderful. And obviously back then, to be ultra cool, you had to have a Micron exhaust. That sounded like a bee on acid. It just screamed, that thing did. I enjoyed that bike, and that thing never ever let me down. And as probably many of you guys, you just went everywhere with the throttle pinned. Everywhere was flat out. And that little AP took every bit of abuse that I slung at it. But yeah, that got some good memories on that. Just, I say, being able to get out and about everywhere I wanted to go. And obviously racing your friends, that was always a thing. Every day you was having a race. Whether it was around all the estates, down the moat, like the bypass, everywhere. You were racing your friends wherever you went. It doesn't matter, even if you pop to the shop, you were racing your friends. Anyway, after that, I got an AR50. So yeah, we're really gaining ground here now. If you had an AR, you was ultra cool. And obviously, we didn't leave it at a 50. This thing had an 80 top end on it. And then it wasn't so reliable. Quite often, it would set fire to the exhaust wadding. I'd look round and my exhaust would be on fire. Or it'd be bogging down for some reason, heat seizing, everything. But while it was going, in my world, that was a really quick little bike for on the road. And again, everywhere, racing your friends and just enjoying life to the full. No worries whatsoever. It was fantastic times. While I had these road bikes, there was always some sort of dirt bike in the background. Always, most of the time I should say. My next dirt bike, it would have been while I owned these road bikes. I'm not sure if I'm getting all this sort of date correct or in like correct order, but obviously these are the bikes I owned. So I had an RM250. I think it was a very early 80s one, and yeah, that thing was a rocket ship. It really was. That thing flew. I remember nearly killing my friend on that bike, and it probably would have killed him. Looking back now, you can sort of laugh at it, but it was a close call at the time. So we used to get these bikes over to a motocross track on the outskirts of Coventry. I think it was Ryton, a place called Ryton. And I don't know, you'd pay a little fee, £1 or whatever, £2, I can't quite remember, if the guy was there to pay. And you'd go off on this like purpose-built motocross track. And I remember being this particular jump that used to send you quite high into the air. It weren't high like a tall jump, but the angle of it was like this. So you just went airborne, taking off at that thing, and I just kept going round and round and round, getting higher and higher, further and further, until you virtually got this bike pinned, taking off this jump, and you'd literally go through the treetops. I remember the jump being between like 2 trees, and you'd just take off and go straight up through the top of the trees, airborne. But it's quite a hard landing because there wasn't a landing ramp. You just landed on flat ground, so you just had to prepare yourself for that. I remember one particular day I'd been around this jump several times, round the track, hitting this jump, taking off, enjoying it. And how the jump was, you couldn't see the other side. You couldn't see sort of your landing ground, because I think it's slightly, very, very slightly sloped off, and you had trees in the way and everything. And this one day I'd done this several times, and then the next time I came around I took off, airborne, and a mate of mine stopped about where you land. Yeah, I was actually shouting at him in the air, and all he done was look round like that and see me airborne coming towards him, and I was trying to wriggle the bike in the air thinking I'm gonna kill him, and I landed right next to him. As I landed and the bike compressed, I had to take my hand off the left bar, and my left bar went under his like that and came back up the other side. I sort of landed one-handed. That's how close I was to him. If me and an RM250 had just landed on him, probably would have been game over. I'll never forget that. I think he still remembers that as well if he's watching. That was a very, very close call. Anyway, I continued, and I can't remember if it was a few weeks later or what. Obviously, this was a long time ago, and I'd done this particular jump, and my foot peg snapped off. So obviously I've landed, the bike's compressed, both my foot pegs have gone crack, snapped off, my feet have hit the ground. Because the momentum of going forward, that's flicked me up. So I'm now doing a handstand on the bike, legs right up in the air, my head virtually touching the front mud guard. I'm staying on it at this point. I managed to get myself back. I plonked myself back into the seat. Because that bike was quite powerful, as I plonked myself back into the seat, I gave it a fistful of throttle. Up the front end came and flipped me clean off the back. So I ended up on the deck anyway, rolling around in the mud. That was quite funny. Yes, peg snapped clean off. I remember that hurting quite a bit actually, because I'd just come from God knows how high out the sky and landed, and obviously my feet are at the deck. But yeah, that was interesting. I thought I'd saved it. I've got this, and now no, straight off the back. That's quite funny. So I think, like I say, these might not be totally in order, but around that sort of era, that period, I had a Suzuki X5. Yeah, the X5 was electric start, wasn't it? Yeah. I didn't have that long. I don't know why. Because obviously I wasn't really legal to ride it. But again, these bikes came along, these bikes got put under my nose, and if I had some spare cash in the pocket, I would have them, regardless to what they were. I'd just have them because I just love bikes. Anyway, after that, again, the street cred went up a little bit more. It was the X7, and this photo is actually the one, the actual bike, and that is me on it. And I think the age, I probably would have been about 15 then, 15, 16, I'm sure I was about that age. Again, not 100% sure. And yeah, you probably can't see in that photo, that's a Wasp t-shirt. I think that was from one of the concerts. We went to all the rock concerts back then, every band going in the 80s, 90s sort of thing. But yeah, the Suzuki X7, what an amazing bike that is. Sounds phenomenal on them exhaust pipes. Again, I got up to no good on that. Done a load of things that I shouldn't have been doing, but boy did I have fun. Great fun. I think there was probably a few little chases here and there on that bike, and got away with them all. Oh dear, yeah, they were the days. Some great memories and some close calls as well. That's all I'll say. Anyway, what did we get after that? Oh, road bike wise then. After that, again, the motocrossers was always there in the background most of the time. So after that, I ended up, probably a couple of years after that actually. Yeah, because that's right, I was, the AR and the AP and that, I was obviously 16, and then 17 rolled round, and then the car thing went on for a little bit. All sorts of different cars. Again, I discovered you could pick more girls up in your car and stuff like that. So I went down the car route for a while, although there's probably a motocrosser always there at some point. So I went down the car route for a little while, had a lot of fun in there. Maybe that's another video of some of the cars and the stories. We'll see. I'll see what you think. But yeah, there's some good cars and some good stories there. And around that time, like I say, I had a bit of time with the cars for a while, actually keeping warm in the winter and stuff like that. I had a Z1000 ST, the mighty Z1000 ST, shaft drive. What an amazing bike. Again, I got that, like I say, we was going down the route of cars for a little bit. I bought that, I hadn't passed my test at the time, so I had it in the garage at my parents' place, just sitting there. I'd already organised all my tests and everything like that, and that was coming up. Anyway, it got the better of me. I think it was a girl that wanted to go out on the back this sometime. I got the bike out. I got it out. Stupidly, I know. Anyway, we're going out on this Z1000, and of course I get stopped. I thought, oh, okay, this is not good. Or should I reword this? Someone who looked like me got stopped on a bike that looked like mine. I'm covering myself. Anyway, I'm sure this was on a Sunday when I got stopped. And back then, we didn't have all this computer system. They didn't know everything about you before they even pulled you over. They knew nothing, not really. And you had what was called a producer. Did you have 7 days on a producer or 14? I can't remember. Anyway, you got this ticket called a producer, where you then have to gather all your documents and go to the police station within this given time. Obviously, literally all I had was the MOT. So, racking my brains back then, I knew a girl that worked in an insurance place. That got sorted. With a little bit of trickery in there with the dates. That was a cover note. So you could produce your full thing or a cover note for your insurance. So I got that sorted. All right, how am I going to deal with the license bit? Bear in mind, this was before computer systems and everything like that. Everything was sort of, the police had to call up to find things out and stuff like that. I know, I was very naughty. Very naughty. Anyway, I got onto the test centre. I remember doing this. and I got a cancellation. I'd gone and produced the insurance, I'd gone and produced the MOT, and I came up with some bizarre story why I couldn't find my licence. And what they'd done then, you could get an extra 7 days or 14 days on that producer ticket to give you time to sort stuff out if you hadn't. If the Mr. Policeman was feeling kind on that day when you were producing your documents. Anyway, I got that, and then I got a cancellation for my test. I was literally in within a couple of days. Got my test done, passed it, full licence. I filled everything out, whatever you had to do, I don't know. All the documents went off to the DVLA to receive my full licence. And I'd done all that within a couple of days of my second extension of the producer ticket. And because I asked, if I did ask the cop in the police station, if I can't find my licence, what happens? He said, we'll get in touch with DVLA to find out if you're licensed to ride that bike, sort of thing. And within a couple of days, like I say, I'd passed my test and done, and I never heard anything else, not a thing. I don't know if they bothered ringing the DVLA or whatever they done back then, and all I can say, it would have just come up, I'd got a full licence. Whether they checked when that licence actually started, I do not know. But yeah, I don't know how I got away with it. I just didn't hear another thing, but I got away with it. Some way, somehow, luck was on my side back then, and I got away with it. But yeah, but now you'd have no chance, absolutely no chance. The computer knows what underwear you've got on today. It's ridiculous. Well, yeah, I guess it ain't really, is it? You know, there's a lot of people like me, worse than me, doing things out there that they really shouldn't be doing. So it's all right. It's not good if you want to go off and have a bit of fun, is it? All the speed cameras everywhere, everything's watching you and knows what you're doing. Yeah, I suppose it is slightly annoying. Anyway, the Z1000 ended up being a bike for a while. Again, my first big bike on the road, eventually legal on it, and again, so much fun. The only picture I've got of that is this, because everything I had normally had to have work done on it or come apart and be rebuilt or whatever. It's just how I've learned things along the years, all trial and error and messing about with bikes. So the Z1000, I ended up stripping that and repainting it, powder coated frame and everything. What a cracking bike that was. I lived on that for years. I just went everywhere on it, absolutely everywhere. And yeah, all the bike rallies, the Bulldog Bash and things like that, I used to go to them all and have an immense amount of fun and get into an immense amount of trouble and you name it. It was great days. After that, I had a few bikes that weren't that brilliant, and sometimes these, you know, these were just bikes that I had in the background. I'd have a lot of my Z1000 was my main bike, and then I'd go and find a bike in a bike breaker's yard. There used to be a lot of them around the Coventry area where you'd, you know, go and get a bike before they actually stripped it all out, and then you'd save it and actually get a bit of time out of it, a bit more time on the road out of it. So I bought this GS, I'm sure it was a GS 750. Oh, it was a right contraption. Nothing was standard on it. Everything was done extremely bad. I think someone had put a Harley Davidson tank on it, which it just looked absolutely dreadful. Chopped the back end off, and yeah, done some terrible things to it. It was all done in matte black, of course. And I remember buying that from a bike breakers in Coventry, and they couldn't find the logbook. Anyway, I bought the bike and I got it insured and everything, because again, computers weren't really a thing back then. Everything was paperwork, and I got insured on it. And I don't know how, because I'm not sure why they spotted the problem that I'm going to tell you about in a minute. But anyway, I was all insured on it, and all legal. or didn't I have road tax? No, I didn't have road tax. I don't know. Anyway, whatever the story was, I got stopped on it. I got stopped a lot. I got stopped on it on this day. I've been riding it for a few months, and very calm policeman. I'll never forget this bit. Is this your bike, sir? He asked, yeah, it's mine. How long have you had it? You know, all the usual questions, but he was, I could sort of sense that something doesn't feel right here. The way he was asking the questions. I mean, yeah, it's my bike, blah, 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 blah. And he says, where did you get the number plate? It was on it when I bought it. I explained where I bought it from, when I bought it. I think I had a little receipt or whatever. And he says, oh, that's funny, that is, because as I've followed you, my colleague has run that number plate a couple of times, and it's coming back as a Datsun Cherry. I was like, no, you're having me on. You're having me on. No. The number plate was off a Datsun Cherry, and I bought this bike from a Bike Breakers in Coventry. They were obviously dodgy. And anyway, this was the reason why I had a constant battle trying to get the logbook off them, because there wasn't one. Anyway, I got it all solved in the end. Again, very long-winded, because there was no computers, internet and all that business. It was dealing with Suzuki UK, with the frame numbers, engine numbers. I eventually got it age-related properly, and then the DVLA issued me with a proper registration for it. But again, the copper didn't, I didn't get done for that or anything. It was just sorted, and then off I went on that bike for a little while after that little escapade. But I look back on it now, it's all very funny, but it was all quite stressful at the time, that one was. And I did attempt several times with this Bike Breakers, trying to get the logbook, constantly turning up. Have you got the logbook yet? And all this business. I remember it, and just getting fobbed off all the time. And eventually I just sorted it all out myself after that police stop. And then this is why I haven't got a logbook. It actually belongs to a Datsun Cherry. Anyway, it all got solved, and I had that bike for a little while, not long, because it was a terrible, terrible looking thing. But it got me about again. After that, what did we have? I've got no pictures of that GS750. But anyway, after that, or around that sort of era, I had a GSX 1100 ET, a Street Fighter, as they were known back then. I've got a picture of that. That's my phone. That's early. Right, where was I? That was my daughter. She's actually on her way to pick me up. We're going out for breakfast, my daughter and my granddaughter, so I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, GSX 1100 ET, Street Fighter. What an amazing little bike that were. Here's the picture of that. Yeah, black with pink bits on it. It was a thing back then to have bright bits here and there, you know. But that was an amazing bike. JMC swing arm. Is it Astrolite wheels? I didn't do all this work to this bike, by the way. This is how it came. It is such a cool bike. And back then was amazingly fast. Yeah, I had some good times on this bike, but unfortunately, that was the first bike I had stolen, and absolutely heartbroken I was. Heartbroken. It got stolen in the day. I'll never forget that. And I didn't have huge amounts of wealth back then, so I was only insured third party. So I lost everything. Absolutely everything. It had gone. I ended up with nothing. And just completely destroyed me, that did. My wheels were gone, my bike's gone, I'm back to walking again. Yeah, not a nice time. Not a nice time at all. Whoever stole that bike, I think I'd still like to wring their neck, whoever it was, if you're watching this. But anyway, amazing times on it, but that didn't end well, that one. What did I have as well around that time? Oh, I think it was another ET type bike, 1100, Suzuki 1100. I've got pictures of this as well. It was a style back then. It wasn't the best looking bike, but again, they were quick bikes, them 1100s. They were very quick bikes. I think we've got one somewhere tucked in the back there that people keep asking about. Let's not go there just yet. But yeah, that thing again, that red bike I've just shown you, that was from a Bike Breakers. I'm sure it was. Again, I just tidied it up, got it running sweet, and used it for ages. For months and months and months. So I used to get all these contraptions that people were struggling to get running right or couldn't finish or whatever, and I'd get them up and running and just go off and use them and have fun on them for a long time. I had some great times with bikes that I sort of got right myself just to be able to get out and use them. And yeah, had some good times. Around that sort of period of time as well, I then got a GSX 1100 EF. Amazing bikes. They are so comfortable to ride, so I really did clock some miles upon that thing. So comfortable. I think I got that off a friend of mine, and yeah, I had that for quite a while. Used big deep seats, so it's like sitting at home on the sofa, and you could just really clock some miles upon them. And again, for that sort of period of time, a very powerful bike. It had later wheels in it, the 3-spoke wheels, I think they were, off a GSXR, and yeah, had a few little bits done to it to make it look a bit different. And them EFs look fantastic when they've been tinkered around with a little bit and sort of chopped and changed. Great bikes. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that because I am going out. We've rattled on for a little bit, and it looks like we're going to have a part 3, if you don't mind. If you know, I can't do a lot else at the moment. So it's nice going down memory lane and getting you guys thinking about your first bikes and some of your memories as well. It's fantastic, and reading some of your stuff in the comments. I'm thoroughly enjoying that. I really am. This may even go into a part 4 because there's been a few. There has. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, and I'll see you soon for part 3. Cheers for watching, guys. Take care.